Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is obviously a little different than what I usually do. I'm in the salon. This is what I do 3 days out of the week. It's just clients all 3 days. So today I actually have one of my subscribers. She found me through YouTube, has been following me for a couple of years now, and then she decided to come get her hair done when she realized I live in her city. So this is Amanda right here, and as you guys can see, her hair is pretty grown out. She's been growing it out for over a year now, so she does have a lot of new growth, and then she just has like super blonde ends. So as what I can tell is that her hair was super platinum to begin with, and then she's just let it grow out. So we have a lot of new growth to work with, and we're kind of aiming for a more blonde but a low maintenance blonde. So I will actually insert like the inspiration picture right here. And we're going to do some baby lights and then a little bit of low lights. I'll probably do like a level 7, which is a little more of like a dark blonde, but still gives enough depth to be like a little bit of brown. So yeah, if you guys are interested on seeing how I transform her hair, then let's just go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so to begin, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a closer look because we were sitting far away. So right here, you guys can see just how far her roots are grown out. There's a little bit of banding between the brown and the blonde, so we're going to get rid of that. And then now I'm just sectioning the hair. Ignore my foiling comb. I know it needs to be replaced. I'm getting a new one ASAP, but right here, I'm just sectioning a headband section. So pushing those 2 front sections out of my way and clipping them. And then the back, I actually just split it in half, and then I'll go on the left side and go from the nape up, like the nape of the neck, and then go all the way up to the crown, and then move on to the right section and do the exact same thing, and then I'll move to the front. So I start with the back sectioning and then move to the front. I know some hairstylists do it differently, but that's just the way that I do it. So you guys can see right here, the left side is where I'm starting, and then the right side of her head is where it's clipped out of the way. Now it's time to mix up the color, and I'm just using the Schwarzkopf Igora Vario Blond Plus. That is a lightener that I'm using. I love Schwarzkopf lighteners. They're the only ones that I feel like lift the hair to a nice pale yellow shade rather than a yellow or an orange. They're easy to tone to a white or silver. So I'm using 10 volume with that. I just use the Pro Care. I feel like developer is just developer. So now for the low light, I'm just using 7N from Kenra. I like Kenra's color, so I'm just using that one for the low light today. I didn't want anything too dark because I know obviously she has very porous ends from the blonde, so I didn't want to grab on too dark. So I just wanted to break it up a little bit, add some dimension, and that's why I chose a level 7. Okay, so taking the small section down here on the hairline, I'm going to be baby lighting this and bringing the lightener all the way up to the root because I do want this to be pretty bright. So whenever she pulls her hair up in a ponytail, you can tell that she obviously got her hair done, and it's nice and bright down there as well. So I'm just taking that small baby light and putting the lightener all the way up to the root. I'm going to be staggering a lot of my baby lights, so you'll see some that are going like an inch down from the root, some that are kind of feathering up to the root. Just to kind of stagger it so that way it looks more of like a grown in root rather than like highlights all the way up to the root. So now once I'm finished with that baby light, I'm going to move on to the other, and what you guys will notice is just how close one baby light is to the next baby light, just because I like my foils to have little to no hair in between, just to make sure that you are getting the most natural results. So this is going to be a very tedious and long process, and I know a lot of hairstylists like to rush it and just kind of throw on some foils and call it a day, but with her hair being super fine, I just want to make sure that it's most natural looking as possible, and there is a lot of regrowth, so I do have to get a ton of foils in there, but this one right here is going to be a low light because I do want to break up some of the blonde that she has on her end. So I'm probably doing like 2 highlights to every low light, or like 1 highlight, 1 low light. So you guys will see I kind of stagger it off. I don't have a system as to where I want the low lights. I just want some dimension in there, but I don't want a ton. So I'm just going to repeat those steps all the way up on the left side and then move on to the back right side and do the exact same thing. So while you guys are watching me do these little baby lights, I wanted to explain something to y'all. This is my first hair tutorial getting into doing like color and technique and stuff like that, and I've always wanted to do this because a lot of people have been curious about like my placement of things and just how I do my certain colors, and I love to educate people, especially now that I have my YouTube channel and I do a lot of makeup and tutorials. But the only reason that I haven't been doing like hair tutorials in the past is because I've seen other hairstylists get picked apart and ripped apart here on YouTube, and I'm so particular and so tedious with my work, and I'm just like a perfectionist when it comes to hair, and I don't rush any of my clients out of my chair. I just take my sweet time with it. So I am kind of sensitive when it comes to hair, and so I don't know, I was just very hesitant and scared to do it, but I just love the way that other hairstylists do work, and I love learning from other people and seeing their techniques. So I figured if I could be inspired by them, then maybe I could inspire one of you guys or teach one of you guys something that you might not have known because this is definitely a technique that I did not know in school or was taught in school. So even if this only teaches one person something, I'm so happy to be doing it, because me as a stylist, I definitely am inspired and motivated by other stylists and their techniques, and I'm just constantly learning and growing, and I feel like the hair industry is constantly growing and changing, so you have to kind of grow and change with it, and if I can do that to one person, that's just the most amazing feeling to me. If you guys end up enjoying this video, I can definitely make this into like more of a salon series on my channel, so I can do like a how-to balayage or a how-to color correction type of thing. So definitely let me know if you guys are enjoying it, so I know whether to do these in the future or just get rid of them completely. Whatever you guys prefer, but I'm more than happy to start doing them because I'm really excited about how this one turned out.
I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you. Someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we could be true. We can be true.
So this specific baby light right here is a good example of what I mean when I say feathering. So I'm going to section out that baby light and then put the foil down, and I'm going to hold the hair at the bottom until I get that lightener right in the middle to have the hair stick to the foil. So once it's stuck to the foil, you can kind of have like a good foundation or base there, and then you can feather your way up to the root. And I'm not pulling the lightener on any of these pieces all the way to the ends, because her ends are already so blonde, and I definitely don't want to over process them. So I'm going to leave those out of all of the baby lights that I'm doing, because her hair is completely platinum on the bottom and there's no need to lighten those. So you guys can see right here, I'm not bringing the lightener directly to the root. I'm just kind of feathering it in, and then you guys will see I'm putting lightener right in between that little band between her ends and the root color.
I know then you'll see we can be true. We can be true. I want you to see what I see in us. Something so real. Something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel. That we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. It's a losing game, it's a losing game. But this time it's more than another love war. This ain't the same, this ain't the same. They say love heals all, it makes it all alright. In time, in time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. Feels so right. It feels so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying, there's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how
guys have ever had any issues with foiling the back of the head and you've realized that the back of the head is too round to actually stick a foil flat to it and get it all the way up to the root without it kind of curving and moving around, if you guys kind of section your foils and position them diagonally into a V shape like I am, rather than going straight across the head, it'll make it a whole lot easier, and it kind of goes with the shape of the head rather than against the shape of the head, so you'll be able to get your foils a lot closer to the root.
Time, my heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. It feels so right, it feels so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying, there's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. Without trying, and how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying.
So moving on to what I feel like is the most important part of doing your client's hair, and that is the hairline. You want to take these in baby fine pieces because you want to make sure that you get the most beautiful hairline and the most natural hairline, because you definitely don't want to have stripes. You don't want your clients to see stripes or any type of bleed marks, so you definitely want to take them baby fine sections at a time and just be very patient. Another little tip for you guys with the hairline is definitely make sure that your bleach is thick enough to hold the foil in place. If your bleach is all runny, then your foil is going to slip out of place and you're going to end up with a bunch of bleed marks and just very, very messy foils. So with the foils that are closest to the head, I'd say the first like 2 or 3, I definitely want to make sure that those are pretty close up to the root, if not all the way up to the root rather than feathered, just because when she pulls her hair up, I want her to have the brightest effect possible and it looks freshly done rather than grown out. So
like you, someone like you, I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we could be true. We can be true. I want you to see what I see in us. Something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying?
So moving on to the last section of the hair, you guys saw the left hairline. I did the exact same thing to the right side, and now we're left with a big mohawk section. And the reason I didn't split the mohawk into 2 is because I asked Amanda what her parting was, and she said she basically doesn't have a part. So whenever my clients tell me that they don't have a part, what I hear from that is it basically needs to look good from all angles. So then what I like to do is just grab the biggest mohawk section and just foil that huge mohawk section just to make sure that I've covered all perimeters of the hair, so whenever it falls, it looks great wherever. So I'm doing the exact same thing, baby lighting this top section and feathering in a lot, as you guys can see right here. It doesn't go all the way up to the root, it's just kind of feathered in there to give the most natural effect whenever it kind of splits in the middle, left or the right. At this point, Amanda is now processing, and I wanted to mention that I kicked up her developer to 30 with a lightener, so that way she could process a little bit quicker on that last mohawk section. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up her toner. I'm using Redken Shade ZQ in the shade 9N and throwing a lot more 9P than I am 9N, just to make sure that I kick away that brass but also keep her in the neutral tones. And then I also wanted to mention that I kept the leftover 7N so that way I could do a root smudge. So I sectioned the hair off into 2 in the shampoo bowl, and you guys will see that I'm starting with the bottom section down here and just working my way all around. So I'm just going to tap out the root right there with the leftover 7N, so that way it kind of mixes together like the root color and the highlight color that I did, and this is just going to create a nice natural effect from the root down to the blonde. So as you guys can see, I'm just taking horizontal sections from the neck all the way up to the crown area, and I'm using 7N with 10 volume. I didn't want to use 20 volume because I didn't want to lift her natural root color. I wanted to keep her natural root color so that way the grow out is a lot easier. So this will kind of tone the blonde pieces from the root to the blonde, like right where it meets to a 7, so that way it's a softer effect rather than like having like a harsh level 9 or 10 right at the root. So this will give it more of a gradient effect and kind of tone it down rather than having it kind of give it like hot roots or deepen up the root color at all. So now with this front section and the root smudge, I'm making sure that I'm leaving out those front pieces right where her hairline is, just to make sure that those stay nice and bright, because you guys know I like a good hairline. And so I'm just smudging out where the crown area is.
This ain't the same. This ain't.
And now I'm just taking that 9P and 9N shade DQ mixture and just putting it all over. I like to do the front section right here first, smudge it in, then do the other front section, and then I'll actually clip up the hair so that way that can get out of my way and I can make sure that I evenly tone the bottom half as well. So while that top half is processing, then I'll go in with the bottom half and put toner on there as well.
I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you. Someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we could be true. We can be true. I want you to see what I see in us. Something so real. Something so real. I want you to see that this.
So because I decided to film this video last minute, I didn't really pre-plan for it. So my next client was actually coming in 20 to 25 minutes, and I knew I didn't have a lot of time to film like in depth of how to blow dry or like style or anything like that. So I didn't get a chance to film any of the styling stuff, but here I am just blow drying her, and I have an after video. Are you guys excited to see it? So this is the final transformation. How do you guys like it? I am so happy with the way it turned out. I think it blends seamlessly, and it is such a natural and gorgeous looking color on her. Thank you so much, Amanda, for letting me do this to you, and thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know how you guys liked it, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye!